Hello, Stunads. I know, different setup from the bathroom. You're getting a sneak peek into my actual room. Not everything in here is mine, though. Some of this stuff is gonna go away. Don't worry. You will not always be seeing this stuff. So, today, ignore the glare on my glasses. Today, I wanted to talk about the Bayverse Decepticons and the miserable failures that they all are. I have a little notebook here with some bullet points just so I don't get too off topic. I know some of my archive videos that you guys have not seen, I have a tendency to flip off to the topic, so today we're going to make sure we stay on topic. So the first one we have, okay, so original movie, the lineup of Decepticons consisted of Bone Crusher, Blackout, will technically count Scorponok, Megatron, Starscream, Barricade, Frenzy, and I think that was all. So that's about 7 people. Autobots had Bumblebee, Megatron, Ironhide, Optimus, Jazz, Ratchet. 6v7. That's fair. It's a little unfair because, one extra person technically, but Frenzy and Scorponok don't. Scorponok technically counts, but because he's a little more formidable than Frenzy, I'd say. But they're still both technically Bayverse mini-cons, so what you want to do with that. But they lose the first fight. Pretty much all of them died except for Scorponok, Megatron, and Starscream. Frenzy died. Barricade didn't technically die. He technically just lost because we see him in later movies. And the Autobots only lost Jazz. He's the only one who died on the Autobot side. So, a little fair. Fair. We won't say much about that. Oh, they also had Brawl. Never mind. They had 8 people. I forgot. They had Brawl. Yeah, the tank guy. Decepticons also had Brawl. So, 8v6. Just about. We'll still say fairs. Fairs. We'll still say fairs. Moving on to the second movie. Which, this is another thing I'm going to talk about. Like a little mini micro part, I suppose. Megatron loses in almost every movie and switches to a different master or person who's technically above him. Because in Revenge of the Fallen, he loses in the first one, Revenge of the Fallen is his master, we know that for sure. Third movie, teams up with Sentinel. Sentinel's technically doing most of the heavy lifting with the, what's it called? Not warp gates, but the, I really feel like it's not called a star bridge. Space bridge technology. The pillars in the space bridge technology, my bad. And then, from there, we have, what? Into the fourth movie, he's turned into Galvatron, technically. Not really because he breaks free from KSI's control, but, technically working for somebody. I don't think it was really his idea to terraform all of the Earth and turn it into Transformers metal. I mean, the creators did it first, so, definitely reheating stale nachos there, Megatron. However, the real thing is, not is he smart enough to come up with it on himself. Does Megatron really think, big scale and complex enough like that to really come up with this by himself? I don't personally think so. But, moving beyond the little Megatron master thing, we didn't even get into Transformers the Last Night where he's under Quintessa, and that's pretty much the whole reason for coming back to life and actually being Megatron and not Galvatron. But, no. Okay. Transformers 2. How did Sam not get caught? I really should just label this video gripes about, my gripes with the movies. But like, how did Sam not get caught in Transformers 2: Revenge of the Fallen? I don't know if you guys remember, but quite literally the entire world was looking for him because at that point Soundwave transmitted a message from the Fallen, which would, in essence, go to every single screen, audio device, anything that could transmit the message of "Bring me this boy Sam Witwicky," it was transmitted to. And yet they didn't get caught until he pretty much decided to surrender himself. I don't even remember if he did surrender himself. I do remember him being able to go past that checkpoint in Egypt and them getting into the Aerospace Museum. I mean the National Aerospace Museum, and somehow still not get caught, not just by authorities but by any public person who didn't want the world to be destroyed by the Fallen in Megatron. I do not understand, and I don't think is even really a conceivable, like, I mean, yeah, it's a movie, get over it, but I don't really think that's even, like, by movie logic, that doesn't make sense, because with the NSA, they would have found that boy like that. It would have been instantly over for him and his whole gang. But you know what? Michael Bay, suspension of disbelief, wet boobs, explosions, all that. Yeah. I'm actually going to show you guys this plot point just because this one makes me so upset. One unaffiliated Transformer. I can't even say unaffiliated Decepticon because he's unaffiliated. One unaffiliated Transformer was able to track down, granted he had the help of Cemetery Wind, and I guess Cemetery Wind would have knew some shit about the Autobots, but I really cannot suspend my belief to believe that having some humans who worked with the Autobots for a few years really helped them that much. Granted, yes, as we saw in Transformers 3 Dark of the Moon, they were going over, not Cemetery Wind, but the military, was going over drills for human interactions with Transformers on how to take them down or at least disable them for a while so the Autobots could come and do mop-up operations. However, I really, really cannot believe that the Autobots, who were taking it easy on these guys, and I guess that's the thing, you have to semantic it. You have to semantic the argument and just say like, oh, well, the Autobots are good guys. They don't want to hurt humans. They don't want to hurt the people that they work with. You know, that guy gave the whole speech about, oh, I got a sister that died in Chicago. No one ever gave me any sympathy. And they were like, oh, well, we feel bad. You know, we technically caused the whole thing in Chicago, and that's kind of why your sister's dead. But I really, really cannot believe that there are people like Leadfoot, Roadbuster, even... what's his name? Jolt! Who's just gonna peacefully surrender and die and be killed by Lockdown? Which, I don't even remember how many cards in Transformers 4 there were. All I remember about Transformers 4 is that stupid Romeo Juliet, dinosaurs, and Steve... not Steve Buscemi. I think it was Steve... whatever the guy was drinking the Chinese milk. Okay? But... I just really, really insane that out of 3 movies, the only Autobots they actually killed, granted, I mean, even in 4 they were named Autobots. Through the 3 movies, the only Autobots the Decepticons were able to kill were Q, aka Wheeljack, Jazz, Ironhide, but technically that was an Autobot who did that. So, it's just... either Lockdown is really that elite, or the rest of the Decepticons just really suck. Or maybe, maybe it's just like a scaling thing, who knows? And it goes like Lockdown, main Autobots, almost all Decepticons. Because Starscream got killed by Sam in a solo 1v1 ISO in the middle of the city. Like, I don't even know if we think about that often. Granted, Wheeljack gave him the weapon, he was like, he say, boomsticks. Courtesy of me, I made them. Pop them in a con and they'll go boom. But like, Sam having like the Just Cause grapple hook and a knife bomb he stuck in Starscream's eye, I personally feel like should not have done as much as it did. However, who am I? I'm just a random guy ranting to about 10 people on YouTube. So ignore me, I guess. Which would be fair. Soundwave. The GOAT. The GOAT Soundwave. I think this is my last point. Soundwave the GOAT was introduced in Revenge of the Fallen, and they did him almost perfectly. He was communications officer, clearly. He was spreading propaganda and threatening the people of humanity through our devices, and he technically had his mini cons with Ravage. That was awesome. Third movie comes around. Even cooler design. I did enjoy the Mercedes, I think it was a Benz AMG. Don't ask me what year, though. I could not tell you. But that silver, almost like metallic gray AMG, so sexy on him. However, all he really did in that movie was kidnap a woman and threaten hostages. And Laserbeak. But, I mean, Laserbeak was doing his own thing. He reported to Soundwave, but they weren't, like, together like that, except for that one scene in the desert where they gave us, like, oh, fans want to see Laserbeak perched on Soundwave, I'm sure. So, you know, he did it. He did the thing. But I just feel like, and I'm sure majority, a lot of people feel this way. I'm sure I'm not alone in it. I just feel like Bayverse wasted so much on explosions, boobs, hot girls, and manufactured emotional moments aren't even really like emotional. It just missed so much of like what could have been great about Transformers. But you know who didn't?